Hi, and welcome back to the Geneva All-Member Meeting. We're so glad that you're attending today, and we have a very interesting presentation coming up on the common semantic approaches in and beyond the vehicle. I'm very pleased to introduce Rainer Lang from Robert Bosch. Rainer is the Vice President and Business Chief Digital Office, Mobility Solutions at Robert Bosch. And also Dr. Kerstan, Systems Engineering, BBM Technical Strategies and Enabling. And so we're very excited to hear a little bit more about common semantic approaches. And so, gentlemen, please take it over.
Megatrends like connectivity, personalization, electrification, and automated driving open up new opportunities for us, but also present us with great challenges due to the increased complexity, amount of data, and required computing power. To meet these challenges, vehicles will in future be defined by an intelligent combination of electronics and software, and they will be connected with the driver, their surroundings, and with one another. This makes it possible to realize functions like V2X communication and over-the-air updates, and the vehicle will become a full-fledged part of the IoT ecosystem. Bosch is embracing this development and is driving it forward by making use of the paradigm shift in the electronic architecture, away from a domain-specific EE architecture and toward a vehicle-centralized, zone-oriented EE architecture. This type of architecture uses only a few immensely powerful cross-domain vehicle computers in combination with zone ECUs. The resulting centralization of the EE architecture makes the complexity manageable and enables the development of the vehicle into an IoT device on wheels. This is how Bosch turns a vision into reality.
So a warm welcome from my side. We are back again. So last year we already had the pleasure to tell you a little bit our plans about semantic stacks, digital twins, and of course about VSS and the CVII. So we are very, very happy to be here again. And as you've just seen in the movie, EE architectures are changing, future vehicles will change a lot. And it's not only that EE architectures are going into a centralization direction, so we will have more power within central vehicle computers. We also need a paradigm change regarding the in-vehicle communication. So when it comes to all these data and signals, we have to somehow abstract. We somehow have to get the idea of service-oriented communication into the vehicle. And this is a really big challenge. So first challenge, of course, on which level do we introduce the service-oriented approach, which completely supports the VSS? And of course, how do we interpret all these services when we have them? So let me give you a very short example. So when it comes to future business, so we are talking about, you have a very cool idea about combining at least two informations from different domains, and perhaps you're using the remaining range of the vehicle, the count of people in the car, and perhaps even the driving style of the driver. And with that, when you combine that, you might be able to provide a really cool service to your customers. But you have this cool idea, you implement it on one vehicle, and then it comes to the point when you want to spread this onto different vehicles out there, onto different models, onto different brands, onto different OEMs. And this is where we have a really big problem, since currently without any standardization, we will come to a real mess here. And we've seen a lot announcement in the past days that there are so many vehicle operating systems out there. We have platforms out there, and all come with their own API. And this helps a little, but since we are so much fragmented in the automotive market, we will have a really, really big problem there. So one cool thing here is CVII and VSS are on the right track, and we're fully supporting that. And yeah, this is why when we don't have CVI, our business of the future will not scale. When it comes to our vehicle computers, it's we are talking a lot about abstraction. So abstraction is everything, and we have to abstract, of course, from the computers hardware, as we done in the past centuries. But when it comes to vehicle computers, we also have to abstract from the surrounding environment, from the surrounding EE architecture, from the surrounding sensors and actuators. Since you have to rely on these information or the features you are given by them to implement your functions. This does mean that you always need a vehicle-specific implementation. But when we are talking about these scaling businesses and about how to generally access vehicle data and features, you don't want to know exactly which sensor is built in that specific car. You want to get the information, or you want to run a feature. So that's why it's all about abstractions, and we get a lot of cool things here. So when we decouple our implementations, we reduce the complexity, and therefore we reduce our implementation and testing effort. When you decouple the deployment cycles, you can use the processes you really need for that level of implementation, or the level of abstraction. So you don't need to apply all the safety and all the other stuffs to some comfort functions you have to on the application layer. When it therefore you also can accelerate your deployment cycles, since usually an EE architecture that does not change in years, but when it comes to the application software, you might have customers who expect updates in the next days. So I'm sorry for okay. Furthermore, when it comes to the service deployment, you don't want to know all the details. As I told you before, you don't want to know all the details of your vehicle, the concrete hardware, software, which is built in your big EE architecture with over 150 ECUs. And last but not least, with that, we are enabling new business models, which only become possible when we have independent deployment of services and applications. To achieve that, we did a lot of investigations over 2 years now. We find a lot of standards out there. We found a lot of cool approaches. Most of them, unluckily, are very proprietary, but we also found VSS. And VSS together with the CVII promise, it's a very broken slide, I'm sorry. It's promising a standardization of the interpretation of our information. So I don't have to care about how to get the vehicle speed out of the vehicle. So do I ask the braking system? Do I ask the GPS? I just ask the VSS tree and I get the information. So when it comes to the Common Vehicle Interface Initiative, please let us extend a little bit the AUTOSAR statement or mission statement for AUTOSAR. Cooperate on standards, but compete on differentiating implementation. Do not reinvent all the time the same things to just get the information about the peak position. So I might hand over to Rainer.
Hi everyone, thanks for having us back. Last time we showed you exactly this slide And we introduced a term which we call now data-driven lifecycle and what we're working on. Today, half a year later, I can tell you that we made a hell of a lot of progress, first of all, within our company. We got in the meantime about 100 people working on this kind of standards. We learned a hell of a lot about ontologies and aspects in this half a year. Our first activities are really live from a production point of view. We're improving their manufacturing processes quite a bit with this kind of approach. So we're getting more and more experience also in this, what we call here as produced. And at the same time, we're learning how proud our people can be, basically just being able to integrate their data and making fun of getting data together. So we're actually progressing there quite a bit. And it's for us as a team, a lot of nice time, I would call it, and a good time to get all of that going. So we can confirm that we work from a company point of view really among these lines and get this all going, integrating as a digital lifecycle and getting basically the design data or as engineered data, produced data and operation data together. And it's working for us internally better. It's the first use cases. They show significant progress for us. Also benefits are quite there. Next slide, please. But also from an outside point of view, we promised last time that we're going to do this in an open and very transparent way. And I showed you also that we're working in the open manufacturing platform. And in the open manufacturing platform, we had now the decision that the aspect modeling that we also like very much is going to be part of the approach in the open manufacturing platform. And this helps us very well with the beyond part of this presentation, because we would like to go beyond the car. We would like to go towards manufacturing data, and we would also like to go towards engineering data, because we believe that the integrated life cycle needs this kind of data as well. And as showed last time, we need this in the development phase, and also we need it in the operation phase of such kind of products, cars and things. So I think also there we can say we're progressing from an external point of view, and at the same time, we continue, as Kerstan showed as well, in contributing, for example, to VSSO, Vehicle Signal Standards Ontology. And that's something that we would like to push much more, because I believe, together with Kerstan, that we do the right thing there and getting things easier by having better standards in our understanding. So this is important that we make a step there forward also, and getting this life cycle integrated and do this also beyond the car, as we were saying it in our title. So pressing the button once more, also there we're going forward, and we're actually working on standards quite a bit from our point of view. So also from a partnering point of view, we changed quite a bit. When you know Bosch for a long time, to partner for us was for a long time not so easy. We're changing our approach quite significantly, and we're going forward in working with other partners. Here is the example of Microsoft going forward. But at the same time, and Kerstan was saying that also, we work in the Common Vehicle Initiative as well, Interface Initiative as well. And I think we contribute there also to what we would call an industry standard that makes a hell of a lot of sense for all of us. At the same time, we're bridging the gap towards analytics to some extent and getting more input there. So if you're interested in the Common Vehicle Interface Initiative, I can pronounce it correctly sometimes, it would be great if you just join the session that's done by Daniel, Jochen, Lars, and Gunnar later on, which shows basically also that we work quite intensively together with these guys. Parallelly to this activity, we continue our contribution to W3C, and also in Geneva, the Eclipse Foundation and the Linux Foundation, because we would like to get there in a picture that all of that somehow fits together and makes a hell of a lot of sense for the industry. Flipping one further. So just confirming what we said last time with a little bit a nicer slide. We're trying to do this together. We share the love for open source, and I think we're getting better there. It was for a long time not so easy to talk about that, but I think we're getting better, and that we're busy there. You can see in the slides as well. We do that very transparently, and we would like to also do it beyond only the car, as we said, because we believe that such an integrated life cycle needs the data around it. That can be data in manufacturing, it can be engineering data. There might be even other data that's in the environment that's very interesting for our environment as well. And I think what we need to do also is a huge step forward from a transformation point of view. We learned that also in our company. We need to get there a huge step forward, getting this agilely done, adapting our way of doing it. We're not doing it the way anymore that we plan over 5 years and everything is going to be the same. We need this more dynamic. And at the same time, this car drives through a forest. We need it also more environmentally friendly. So this is what we're trying to do, and we keep on going and doing exactly what we said last time, doing it open and doing it together. So that's this story here again. So we would like to ask you to be part of that journey. Go with us. You press the button, that's correctly. Go on further. Be part of the journey and be part of this getting together. And we're looking forward keeping working on the standards. And also, I think that's important. We learned that also with our teams. We should have a little bit of fun there to enjoy this working together and getting better in these things. I think that would end my part of the presentation. And if I look onto the clock, we would have quite a little bit of time or a lot of time for questions, which we are happy to answer. So we could do that now for this 15 minutes that we still have.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, Rainer and Christian, and for that informative talk. We do have time for a Q&A. If you would like to pose a question within SwapCard, you can use the tab, the questions tab there to put in a question. But maybe while we're waiting, maybe I could just pose a quick question. Tell us a little bit more about Bosch's strategy and interest in sort of open collaboration and what you see happening with that in the context of CVII and in the context of the semantic technology that you talked about today.
Christian?
Okay, so when it comes to the open collaboration, it's as I said, we had a lot of public statements. We have a new platform. We have a new vehicle operating system. Each and every one brings their own API, their own understanding of data and information of services, and this will generate a huge lock-in to this platform. And therefore, you usually, when you develop a service or an application, you cannot just port or migrate from one platform to the next one. When you have make a step backwards and you have a look on everything in the automotive industry going on, then we have a huge fragmented market currently. And the question is, will this keep alive, or will this be the future? From my point of view, we had the chance to observe a similar progress or a similar phase in the IT or in the smartphone branch, or you name it. There were several ones, but usually there is a hard end. So, and this can be there comes a big hyperscaler just defining their own standard, and then this is a platform. Or we going together for an open source approach as we have with Linux and so on. When it comes to the open models and ontologies, I would like to hand over to Rainer, but even there, it makes so much sense to make this together so that we can get the full potential out of it.
You were asking what sense it makes to make it together. From our point of view, we try to do aspects and semantics to a large extent together, because we believe that a common description of events, of cars, of parts and things like that makes a hell of a lot of sense for the whole industry, not only for certain players. And that allows us also to cross-use data and to get data over the tier somehow organized. I think that's very important. So our interest is to be part of that, that getting together and making this kind of communication going also via the levels. Seeing the question here for Industry 4.0, if I may ask that in parallel, I'm seeing it here on the second screen from Stephen. Well, from our point of view, we thought in the company quite a bit about what's the link between operations basically and Industry 4.0 data. And our result is we create currently ontologies that fit to each other because we jump basically over the barriers quite a bit. And that kind of jumping allows us to get to different conclusions basically. So we can understand failure situations in a different way and do much more there just by getting Industry 4.0 data in an early stage involved. It's early phases for us. I'm not saying that we have done that completely, but I think our specialists learned a hell of a lot about that in recent months and weeks, that we jump basically over the silos and use the data then to the benefit of the customers to some extent by detecting problems earlier. The same, the better depends are.
Great. There's another question from Leon. Which layer APIs would you recommend to standardize?
Well, I think we are currently thinking about APIs in different ways and different means, basically. I think the only thing that's important to us currently is that these APIs are somehow semantically correctly described. There will be different layers. I don't think that we will see only one approach to layers. The important thing for us is that there is a semantically described format behind it and that the data is understandable. I do not think that there will only be one single layer. There might be a layer in the car environment. There will be also integration layer in towards other areas from our point of view. Just trying to get this further. Would you expect this simply to Bosch business getting software for free? And, well, that's a model now that I see.
May I extend the answer regarding on which layer? So
yeah.
Of course, we start with the easy one. So we have a kind of application layer where on the vehicle computers how to access vehicle data. This pretty much makes sense when it comes to new services you might want to run within the vehicle, you want to run outside of the vehicle. And when you go deeper, we are of course, as everybody, investigating how to introduce services, and even there it makes sense. Autosar is doing that. We are doing this with CVII, and there are a lot of more standardizations. How to standardize services within the vehicle. So currently, let's start with the top. So with the use cases, and go down on purpose, not just per default. Switch everything, but find the right purpose and then switch what we need. Rainer,
okay.
Sorry.
Okay, perfect.
Would you like to take the business model question there, Rainer?
Yeah, I was thinking about how I answered to. Sorry, Christian is talking as well, but it's from my point of view, the business models will be changing. We were talking about service models for a long time, and a lot of people say, will they ever come? Currently, we see that progressing quite a bit. I'm not saying that we're there, but it's still a combination of both hardware and software business models.
Okay. Let me ask a follow-up question to that one. How does Bosch see the traditional OEM Tier 1 relationship evolving and changing over time as we look at standardizing data, standardizing functions within the vehicle? Do you see a fundamental shift in that relationship from how it's worked historically?
Christian?
Yes, let me try. So of course there is a shift and it's a transformation. So and I don't know where this will end. At the end, in the meanwhile, my understanding is and will be that a Tier 1 or a supplier enables the OEM to achieve something for their end customer. We will. So this is my understanding. We bring something which the OEM might cannot do, or usually he can do. But the most important thing is we can spread solutions over different OEMs, and therefore we can generate some synergies. We can help to bring data together, which is not so easy when you have just one brand. So no.
Yeah.
I would add one sentence there. I think it's going to be more partnering like, because you need to understand the data over the tiers basically, and it's not between OE and one tier, it's then other tiers involved as well. And I think the approach to partnering will be changing over this time, because if everyone just blocks access to his data, we're not going to go anywhere.
Yes.
So it will be, from my point of view, more partnering. There are some very innovative OE customers that are doing that already. Names we leave out here, but we see that already happening because they see also then a benefit of having this data available.
Okay. I don't see any other questions from the audience. We'll give it just another minute and then we will call it good. But very, very appreciative of your time and efforts on this this interesting presentation. Thank you for Bosch, has been a tremendous member to Geneva, contributor over the years, and we very much appreciate your strong support there. And I think we should probably go ahead and close this particular session. We have on this schedule a break until 20 past the hour, and so we will welcome everybody back at 20 past the hour for the Geneva project technical status updates. Thank you again, Kerstan and Reiner, and we'll see everybody else at 20 past.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.